Hello, greetings from Germany. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Um, I think, although time to start, we just hang in here for a moment longer and wait until some more people come in before we start the topic, really. And yeah, I'm really glad that I always see the same people here joining. Um, I really love that. You're always there. Good to know. And greetings all uh, others as well, of course. Not only those who are always here, but those who are just popping in. I wish a very, very joyful day to you. And yes, I think now we can start. So, as I said, Igor is not here yet, but I hope he comes because today there is no way we cannot do the guided meditation. So, yes, today we shall do a guided meditation, but first, there is some more to say on the topic of metta. First of all, I just want to, with a heart full of loving kindness, I want to wish you all a very, very happy Magha Puja. Magha Puja starts today, is today. It started in Asia long ago and it's almost over. And here we're in the midst of it, although we will celebrate it this evening. So, yes. So happy celebrations if you do celebrate. And this for us shall be a good opportunity to continue with our topic on loving kindness. Last week, we have learned about the enormous vastness, the greatness of loving kindness and how far it can go, how far reaching it would be if we really would experience or develop loving kindness or any other of the four Brahma Viharas. In the guided meditation, most probably I'm going for the four Brahma Viharas, although now we would just mainly speak on loving kindness in the beginning. And I shall take note of the time much better than I usually do. So because I have to finish off 3 o'clock point, because there are other appointments today. And also that there is enough time for the guided meditation. The last week, it should have been, but didn't work out. Anyway, so I have some suttas, and I remembered from last week that I forgot to mention something that I think about the practice of loving kindness. I do believe, honestly, seriously, that when you do vipassana meditation, as we have been doing it once in a while, and we as we try to do it in a guided form also, when you do this not guided meditation, vipassana meditation, when you do vipassana meditation, then and you start to develop some insights about yourself, and internally and externally, as it is stated in the Satipatthana Sutta, then most probably what will happen is that you develop loving kindness, and it starts with a rise of consideration. When I was in Wat Lampung in the meditation center, I could observe the meditators there. So that is a monastery, but also a retreat center for Thai people and for foreigners. They have an entire section for foreigners to practice, and I have been there for several years. And so I could observe, also with myself, of course. And what I saw is when the people are coming newly, when they never did the practice, in the beginning, they start and struggle, of course. And all you can do when you are in that meditation center is, except from walking and sitting meditation, you are allowed to do 10, 15 minutes of sweeping in after the lunch. So that is your only entertainment. Apart from watching what is going on in your mind. And you have to meditate a lot there. So the first 2 days, people are coming in and bringing their rush, like their energy from outside. And you see them in those 10 minutes sweeping like to get ready to get some physical exercise, And then after a few days, 2, 3, 4 days maybe, you see a change within them. They start to have more awareness. Sati gets stronger. Awareness arises. And then suddenly you see them. And when there's a little ant passing by, they wait and watch. And this is why I really, really think that when you have a strong sati, a moment-to-moment awareness, then, and you are not cruel within your heart, that of course is given. When you're not cruel and have a strong sati, then you cannot other than develop loving kindness and compassion, and also sympathetic joy and upekkha. That is so, and that especially for Igor, who is not here today, I wanted to have that mentioned, my experience. And because we are doing it because of him, this metta meditation. It was his suggestion. So I greet cordially everyone who just joined in, and would now continue with some texts. And there is firstly Anguttara Nikaya, the book of the sixes, and it's the sutta number 12, the Saraniya Sutta. And it has, even the title has quite different translations. It can be something with warm-heartedness. It can also be conducive to amiability. And there are several people who translated it, and I'm trying to mix it all up, because all of those translations do have some very, very good and helpful translations into the English, and others are more, well, it's words, and some words for me as a non-native English speaker are easier to understand than others. Anyway, there are 6 factors of communal harmony, of harmony for your community, of the group you're with. That may be the community, like the monastic community of monks or nuns. That might be a Buddhist lay community. That might be any community. These 6 factors are pretty much, what really helps to have the harmony in place. So it might sound familiar, because I think Ayyā Phalanyani, she was talking about the Kosambi Sutta, number 48 in the Majjhima Nikaya, and there the same text appears with a little bit more in the end afterwards, which in this one that I'm quoting is not. So listen. Then the Blessed One addressed the monks. Monks, these 6 things are conducive to amiability, could also be are pleasing or are polite. They create affection and respect and lead to inclusiveness, non-contention, harmony, and unity. What 6? Here, monks, someone establishes physical actions based on loving kindness in regards to his co-practitioners, can also be fellows in the holy life or spiritual companions, both publicly and in private. This is one thing that is polite, creates affection and respect, and leads to inclusiveness, non-contention, harmony, and unity. Again, someone establishes verbal actions based on loving kindness in regards to his co-practitioners, both publicly and in private. This is another thing that is polite, creates affection and respect, and leads to inclusiveness, non-contention, harmony, and unity. And further, someone establishes mental actions based on loving kindness in regards to his co-practitioners, both publicly and in private. This is another thing that is polite, creates affection and respect, and leads to inclusiveness, non-contention, harmony, and unity. Furthermore, someone unreservedly shares with his virtuous co-practitioners any possessions he has acquired properly, even the contents of his alms bowl. This is another thing that is polite, creates affection, leads to inclusiveness, non-contention, harmony, and unity. Again, when living with his co-practitioners, one engages both publicly and in private in various, in virtuous behavior, which are unbroken, undamaged, unstained, unblemished, liberating, praised by the wise, free from grasping, and conducive to concentration. And further, when living with his co-practitioners, one maintains both publicly or in private a perspective which is noble, leads to liberation, and correctly leads the maintainer of that perspective to the elimination of suffering. Monks, these are the 6 things that are polite, create affection and respect, and lead to inclusiveness, non-contention, harmony, and unity. Monks, of these 6 polite things, this is the best one, the all-inclusive one, the unifying one, the perspective which is noble, salvific, and correctly leads its maintainer to the elimination of suffering. So, last week we spoke about how deep, how far-reaching loving kindness could be if we would dare to. And I think it's really a thing of daring. I pondered a little bit over it this week, and there are reasons why we do not dare to let it go that far, because we lose ourselves. We lose ourselves, in fact, in a good sense, in a way of coming closer to enlightenment. But I totally, completely, and fully understand if somebody has to say and says, I am not willing to. I cannot let it go as far. I will not let them harm me. I will not let other people harm me. I do understand that. And I think, as I said last year already, this is a very, very profound thing we need to check, because we're not honest to ourselves when we sit there and say, I want to spread loving kindness to everywhere and everyone. But we're not ready for it. So we need to start otherwise, namely with being honest. Because pretending to have loving kindness when there is none doesn't make any sense. But here, what I read, there we find some information about how we can really do. So what is it? We can try to really, and there the sati comes in, with awareness, make sure that we keep a mind with loving kindness, mental actions. That means we're thinking about other people with loving kindness. Mental acts of loving kindness is mainly thinking on them. And I remember when years ago, I thought I was such a good person, and started a Vipassana meditation and had a look into my mind and found myself insulting the teacher for giving me some instructions that I didn't like. And I had to admit there were evil thoughts, which I didn't know when I did not do Vipassana. So um, this is this comes with seeing clearly, with opening our senses for what is really going on in the present moment. So as soon as we start to have sati, awareness in the present moment, we can see that there are mental actions, thoughts that are by far not full of loving kindness. And these, when we are not so aware as we should be, are slipping away, sliding like fishes, and we don't see them. We can look around these things very easily. But here we understand, here the Buddha says how important that is to have loving kindness mentally, even. So we shall try not to develop thoughts that are cruel, that are in a way that we want to harm something, that are guided by greed, hatred, and delusion, if you want to say so. Real loving kindness is very far apart from these three. So if we want to develop real, profound loving kindness, this is the first thing. Check the thoughts, check the mind. When we do the guided meditation later, we try to implement that also. So then the next thing, when you have your mind a little bit managed and you know with sati, there are not so many cruel, evil, unwholesome thoughts arising anymore, then you establish verbal actions of loving kindness. So you, as the Buddha, or as it is translated into English, you use words that are pleasing to the ear. You're speaking at the right time, and you are speaking what is beneficial, and you abstain from things that irritate others, harm others, or you abstain from insulting them. And just by keeping the sila on the third of the 5 or 8 silas of the right speech, you are already working on loving kindness in verbal actions. And then, of course, we have those physical, bodily actions. And those too should be acts of loving kindness. And these things, these 6 factors for harmony, we can do them anywhere. We have to do them here in the monastery. In any other monastery, they should be done. If you develop them at your workplace, that would be fantastic if you could. And every little baby step in this direction is already beneficial. Better than try some little steps going forward, trying to implement this bodily act of loving kindness, holding the door open, saying nice words to others, you find always something nice to say, even if you don't like somebody. And that must not be, how's that word again? Pretended. That can be really honest. That you say something nice about a person you don't like. That doesn't need to be pretending. It's only your thought, your underlying thought, that makes it evil or pretending. But so when you try to do these things, loving kindness based actions, yes, that might be the word, Buddharuchi, but I can't pronounce it. Thank you so much. Read the thread at the side, please. That is the word that I meant. Okay, so I was speaking of 3 now, but if we are in groups anywhere, those others mentioned here in that sutta are important as well. So with our co-practitioners, co-workers, friends, family, whoever, we share things. That is a nice thing to do, and that certainly will create within yourself a feeling of loving kindness, and for the other, it will help them to see the good in you. You know, if you have the opportunity to share your lunch, for example, with somebody, then that person might see your good intentions towards them. That is in itself an act of loving kindness if you do it really out of good-heartedness. Also, you can do everything with a corrupted mind, but if you are aware of what you're thinking, that should be possible not to have these unwholesome thoughts underneath. And there's what I said in the beginning, sati, awareness, is so important for the development of loving kindness, because otherwise you wouldn't know sometimes in the beginning. So then you live or work with your co-workers, co-practitioners, and in public and in private, your behavior, your virtuous behavior, is unbroken, undamaged. That could mean also in a workplace that you avoid, for example, those speaking behind somebody's back. If there is anything you need to say because that was not good, you say it into their face. And you accept if they have to say something. You receive it like a gift without getting angry, with maintaining the loving kindness that you have started to develop. the virtuous behavior is really a, a good base for loving kindness, because it trains your mind, keeping the sila, or wanting to be a moral, say, quality person, then you have to be considerate. And this creates awareness. This creates sati. So these are helping each other, sila and sati. Of course, then you need sati to keep the sila. So these are beneficial for each other. And so what comes next is really more for those who practice meditation for the liberation. When living with his co-practitioners, one maintains both publicly and in private a perspective which is noble, leads to liberation. Well, this which is noble, of course, this here means is referring to somebody who has entered the path, who is already at least stream enterer. But if you take it for your workplace, if you have a noble attitude, are generous, are forgiving, are noble, then it also can help you in that particular group to develop something around you that attracts people in a sense, in a way, like loving kindness attracts people. They feel drawn in. They develop trust. And this is the way, or are 6 factors that could, if you take them into consideration, lead to loving kindness. Now, I see the time, and I that's why I'm talking too much. See, because there is another sutta that I want to refer to, that is Majjhima Nikaya 99, the Subha Sutta. And there the Buddha is speaking with Subha, and that is a Brahmin student. And the Subha asks the Buddha many questions, but then the talk comes to the way that leads to Brahma. So that is quite at the end of the sutta. Master Gotama, I have heard that the ascetic Gotama teaches a path to companionship with Brahma. Please teach me that path. Well then, student, listen and pay close attention. I will speak. Yes, sir, replied Supa. The Buddha said this. And what is the path to companionship with Brahma? Firstly, a mendicant meditates spreading a heart full of love to one direction, and to the second, and to the third, and to the fourth. In the same way, above, below, across, everywhere, all around. They spread a heart full of love to the world, abundant, expansive, limitless, free of enmity and ill will. When the heart's release by love has been developed and cultivated like this, any limited deeds they've done don't remain or persist there. Suppose there was a powerful horn blower. They'd easily make themselves heard in the four directions. In the same way, when the heart's release by love has been developed and cultivated like this, any limited deeds they've done don't remain or persist there. This is a path to companionship with Brahma. I would have read out the same for the others, for the other three of the four Brahma Viharas. But since today we're talking about metta, and since today it's late already and we want to get closer to the meditation, I shall leave it at that. And just read one little thing from one little text from the Anguttara Nikaya 4, number 32. Bhikkhus, there are these four means of sustaining a favorable relationship: wood for giving, endearing speech, beneficent conduct, and impartiality. These are the four means of sustaining a favorable relationship: giving, endearing speech, beneficent conduct, and impartiality on the diverse worldly conditions as is suitable to fit each case. These means of sustaining a favorable relationships are like the linchpin of a rolling chariot. If there were no such means of sustaining a favorable relationship, neither mother nor father would be able to obtain esteem and veneration from their children. But since there exist these means of sustaining a favorable relationship, wise people respect them. Thus, they attain to greatness and are highly praised. So this is going in the same direction, and not talking more about that. You have heard it. That should do. We are coming now to the guided meditation. I hope you have a good seat already. You sit comfortable. You bring your back upright. And breathe first everything out. The old air, everything out of the body with it. And the next deep in-breath, that's the start of our meditation. You breathe in, deep, and breathe out, deep. And again, several times. Then you check your back. No matter how you sit, on the floor, on the chair, on an armchair like I do, that is not important. What is important is that your back is upright, not too stretched, but upright. That your entire upper body is relaxed so that your organs can just follow gravity and fall into their place. You don't need to hold the belly. Relax the belly. The heavy weight on the shoulder, put it away. There doesn't need to be a weight on your shoulders. Relax the shoulders. Relax here, where the thyroid is. Open it. Kind of try to open your gorge, your throat. And your cheek, chin, your chin. So after this quick checkup of our body, we try to direct our focus to our mind, to our heart mind, to the chitta. Sometimes we don't have access and don't know what we're feeling. It seems obscure, but by observing the thoughts, we can know, we can get access. So now we check. Is there any thought, any emotion, any thing, any thought of cruelty, towards myself or others? Should there be, then willingly let go of it, abandon it. If not, rejoice There's no thought of cruelty in this moment. Next, check. Is there any thought, any emotion of ill will within my mind, within my heart? If yes, try to abandon. If no, wonderful, great, rejoice. Is there any wanting? Whatever wanting, whatever desire that may be, that can be a desire to scratch the nose because it's itching. That can be a desire to eat something. That can be a desire to move. Whatever desire. If there is any desire, try to let go of it. And if there is no desire, rejoice. Stay a moment. And just observe the breath going in and out of your body. This breath is what makes you alive. If that weren't, you wouldn't be. But since you exist, you can know the breath. And you can know that you're sitting. And you can check. There is no ill will. There's no cruelty. There's no wanting. These unwholesome qualities are there as huge rocks that can obscure my vision, that can obstruct my path. But they are not there. So I can breathe free. And open. These unwholesome qualities that are not there presently are like a pile of rubbish that are hiding my good qualities. If these are not there, those unwholesome qualities, the wholesome qualities could shine through, would be there whenever needed, whenever wanted. So we'll make sure that no darkness, no rubbish, no whatsoever unwholesome quality can arise, can come and obstruct the bright shining light of the loving kindness that I'm capable of. And the loving kindness expands the heart. We start to feel it in the hearts. The loving kindness arises because there's no obstruction to it. We have rid ourselves of ill will. We have rid ourselves of covetousness, of greed. For this moment, we have rid ourselves of delusion. And therefore, love can shine. Love can expand. And we can abide with a heart full of loving kindness. A heart imbued drenched with loving kindness. And we can extend that to the first quarter in front of us. To the second quarter, that is to one side. To the third quarter, that is in our back, or from our back into the wide open. To the fourth quarter, and above. Below. And all around. And to all as to oneself. We abide with a heart abundant, exalted, immeasurable. Thank you so much. That was brief, but at least we did it. As I said right in the beginning, I have another appointment. Yes, I do have Thursday evenings on Thursdays we have a German Vortrag. See you next week. I gotta go. Bye bye, all of you.